Imagine a man who abandons his chaotic home to live in a forest hut. He seeks the divine, but soon he's just worrying about who will bring him milk. So he gets a cow. Then he needs fodder. Then he marries to manage the daily chores. In his desperate run from the world, he just built a brand new cage. Or what about the seeker who couldn't give up his drinking and smoking? The sage told him, "Don't quit anything, just sit, meditate." Within a month, the desires simply vanished. He didn't drop his habits dropped him. We constantly swing like a pendulum, from deep worldly attachment to fierce punishing detachment. Even the great Buddha starved himself to a single grain of rice, only to realize he couldn't even cross a shallow stream. He discovered the truth isn't at the extremes. It's in the profound, silent center. It's the ultimate state of Veetraga, living fully in the world, accepting the nectar of life like the great Ashtavakra, yet remaining completely untouched by it. Are you ready to stop running and start ascending? Your true upward journey begins right now.
Today's discourse centers on renunciation, the true detachment or dispassion. Understanding renunciation and learning how to elevate oneself through it is not as simple as everyone perceives it to be. In fact, renunciation can sometimes mislead you. In our worldly existence, there are numerous instances where what appears to be detachment actually creates an illusion in your mind. You might be living a certain kind of life and deeply wish to abandon it for another, mistakenly believing that the divine is blessing you with renunciation to guide you toward a new path. On many occasions, this is nothing but a profound illusion. If I explain this to you through a simple example or a short story, it will become perfectly clear in your mind that what we usually experience is not genuine renunciation. True renunciation is an exceedingly high and exalted state of being. Consider a gentleman who is deeply troubled by his family life. He is unhappy with his wife, burdened by immense financial struggles, and overwhelmed by issues with his children. Confronted with all these relentless problems, a person naturally becomes deeply agitated and disturbed. In this state of distress, he begins to feel that it would be best to simply abandon his worldly life and walk away. His profound troubles breed a sense of detachment in his mind. However, this is not true renunciation, it is merely an artificial, circumstantial detachment. There is the authentic renunciation, and then there is this, a counterfeit detachment born purely out of frustration. In reality, you simply want to escape your problems. A time comes when you decide to leave everything behind. In ancient times, people would flee to the forests. Today, you might seek refuge in an ashram or isolate yourself somewhere in the mountains. Whatever the action may be, the core issue remains the same. Your mind falsely convinces you, holding on to the illusion, I have attained renunciation. You go and start living on a mountain, build a small hut, and settle there, leaving your family behind. But within a day or two, reality sets in. How will you arrange for your food? Because you are not merely a soul, you are also a physical body. The body has its own absolute conditions, it feels hunger, it feels thirst, and it requires at least a modest roof over its head. So, you begin to look around, hoping someone will come and offer you something. You wait for a passing villager or a mountain dweller to bring you some milk or a meal. And indeed, it happens. Seeing someone dressed in the robes of an ascetic, people naturally offer food, grains, or milk out of pure reverence. But this is not true renunciation. You have simply run away, and your entire conscious focus is now fixated on who will bring you your next meal. Instead of meditating on the divine, your mind is perpetually preoccupied with survival. Physically, you haven't grown frail, nor have you attained the true inner state of a sage. Others are completely unaware that you are a runaway from your own home. You are merely deceiving yourself into believing that you have attained detachment, but that is far from the truth. Eventually, someone offers you a piece of advice, brother, since you wait from morning till evening just for food, why not keep a cow? It is not difficult here. A cow is easy to find, and there is no shortage of fodder, grass is everywhere, and you will have a steady supply of milk. So, you get a cow. You feel relieved for a few days. But soon, the need for solid grains arises again, and you find yourself wandering for food once more. Additionally, you now have the daily chore of taking the cow out to graze. Your entire day begins to be entirely consumed by these new worldly arrangements. At this point, an experienced local observes you and says, "Brother, you are physically fit and healthy. Why do you struggle and toil so much? Just marry a local girl." By this time, you have completely forgotten the very reason you left your home. You agree, and you get married. Now, the new setup is complete. You have a wife, a cow, a hut, and your daily food problem is permanently solved. The profound essence of what I am saying here is this: you abandon one worldly life only to establish another. In all these new arrangements, you did not actually renounce the world. You merely changed your geographical location and gradually reverted to being exactly what you were before. You even had children again, and the spiritual elevation you believed you were pursuing never manifested. This proves that what you experienced was an artificial, circumstantial detachment, a counterfeit renunciation, and you mistakenly embraced it as the ultimate truth. This frequently happens when you are spiritually like an unripe fruit. The struggles and problems of your original life were the heat meant to ripen you. But instead of enduring that heat and ripening there, you ran away to create a parallel world, hoping to ripen on your own terms. Thus, a person frequently falls into the profound illusion that he has attained true renunciation, when in reality, he has only changed his cage. Similarly, observe this reality. There are many ashrams in our country, whether it is the Ramakrishna Math, the Yogananda ashram, or numerous other institutions where young spiritual seekers are accepted into the fold. I know this personally. If 20 brahmacharis enter an ashram, within a year, 15 or 16 of them simply run away. They leave it all behind. Why? Because they had come only because they lacked employment, had no food to eat, or their family situations were miserable. A fleeting thought came to their minds, let us go and become one with God. But the truth was, they had not yet conquered their worldly desires, nor did they possess any true understanding of life. Thus, after residing there for 6 months or a year, they abandoned the spiritual path and returned to wandering aimlessly in the material world. Therefore, this is absolutely not renunciation. True renunciation is a profound awakening that blossoms from the very depths of your soul. In reality, there are 4 categories of individuals in this world. The first category comprises those who have performed intense spiritual practices in their past lives. In this current birth, right from their childhood or the very moment they gain a little worldly awareness, nothing else matters in their lives except the burning longing to unite with the divine. Their entire past life was dedicated to this very pursuit, and in this life, as soon as they come of age, they naturally and effortlessly embark on the search for the Lord. The most prominent and highest example of this in our history is that of Mahatma Buddha. Even when he was just a young child, he would sit silently beneath a tree and gaze at nature as if he were looking directly at God himself. Gradually, all worldly luxuries, royal pleasures, and majestic wealth were laid before him. He even got married. Yet, he eventually renounced the world and walked away. And he never once looked back until he had attained the Supreme Soul. This is the exalted, highest state of those who take birth solely for the divine. Once true renunciation awakens within them and they renounce the world, they never return to it. Similarly, another profound example is Swami Vivekananda. He dedicated his entire life's energy solely to the search for the Lord. Paramahansa Yogananda ji lived a similar life, and the life of Lord Mahavir follows almost the exact same divine trajectory. These great souls arrive in this world carrying the profound, fully ripened spiritual impressions of their past lives. And when they leave this worldly attachment behind, they never cast a backward glance. It is not that they do not face obstacles. As I mentioned earlier, the trials of worldly desires and material temptations test everyone. But because their inner resolve is absolutely unshakable, looking back becomes an impossibility for them. The second category consists of individuals who, after listening to spiritual discourses or spending time in the noble company of the wise or satsang, begin to question the very purpose of their existence. A profound thought awakens within them, why have I come into this life? They gradually step onto the spiritual path, but they do not abandon the material world. Instead, They associate themselves with a spiritual institution or earnestly seek out a guru. As they walk this path steadfastly for many years, true renunciation eventually dawns in their lives. This detachment, which blossoms after 20 or 25 years of devoted practice, is authentic renunciation because they have observed and understood the worldly life from very close quarters, exhausting its illusions naturally. The third category comprises individuals who come into profound contact with highly spiritual beings, or who inherently possess the contemplative temperament of a mystic or a philosopher. They read and study extensively, which stirs a deep, burning inquiry within their hearts: what is that supreme, unseen power that governs and operates this entire universe? Driven by this profound philosophical thirst, they find themselves irresistibly drawn toward the divine, gradually dedicating their entire lives to unraveling this ultimate truth. The fourth category belongs to those who live in a constant state of acute self-awareness. They observe their own mundane routines and ask themselves, what exactly am I doing? I wake up in the morning, I eat, I sleep, and the next day is exactly the same, and the third day too. I do my work, I earn a little wealth. Did the Lord send me into this world merely for this mechanical existence? Through this intense, conscious self-inquiry, a pure and ideal state of renunciation spontaneously awakens within them. No one has taught them this, it blossoms entirely on its own from their inner awareness. The most direct example of this, as far as my understanding goes, is the life of Osho. He had no formal guru. By deeply observing the world, contemplating various philosophies, and undertaking immense study, true detachment manifested in his life. Whatever his exact internal circumstances may have been, I would place him firmly in this category. Therefore, regardless of which of these four categories you belong to, once you genuinely commence your spiritual practice, a time will inevitably come when true renunciation gracefully enters your life. Now, if I were to draw another distinction, there are many individuals in this world who seek knowledge purely out of idle curiosity. We see this often, whether in our own profound talks or elsewhere. They will ask a question simply for the sake of asking, why is this so? However, they have absolutely no intention of absorbing that truth or applying it to their lives. They ask questions the way children do, and whatever answer is provided, they are not genuinely concerned with its deeper transformative meaning. Such individuals continue to wander aimlessly through the corridors of life, never truly able to take a single, meaningful step toward the divine. The second category of individuals, who exist in overwhelmingly large numbers in this world, are the intellectual or mental seekers. They desire to comprehend God purely on an intellectual level. They will ask questions, grasp the concepts, store them in their intellect, and then, rather foolishly, forget them entirely. Merely to show off their superficial knowledge, they will utter a few profound-sounding words to prove they know something. In truth, it is these very people who misled others and divert them onto the wrong path. Our society is filled with an abundance of such individuals. The third category belongs to the true seekers, the mumukshu, those with a burning desire for liberation. In reality, these are the individuals who navigate through all these stages and move resolutely toward the Supreme Soul. They pour their heart, soul, and very life force into a single, unwavering resolve: I must attain the divine before breathing my last breath in this lifetime. Driven by this, they gather every form of true wisdom. A profound feeling often arises within their lives to renounce the world. However, this feeling is entirely authentic. It is true renunciation. They do not physically run away. They continue to perform their worldly duties. Yet, deep within their hearts and minds, this spirit of detachment gradually becomes incredibly intense and profound. When they strive toward the Lord with deep focus and profound devotion for 15 to 20 years, a time inevitably arrives when their Kundalini energy ascends from the Muladhara, the root chakra, to the Swadhisthana chakra. They may not be consciously aware of it, but in reality, this spiritual evolution takes place within them. Once they attain this state, they become completely liberated from all fear in life. They can wander anywhere in search of the divine. They can sit in deep, dark caves or desolate places, and absolutely no fear touches them. They are true mumukshus. This is the sole purpose of their existence. They continue to live within their families and do not abandon the material world, yet their entire mental and spiritual focus remains eternally anchored in the Lord. Slowly, as a deeper awakening blossoms within them, everything in their life begins to transform. The worldly things they once enjoyed no longer hold any appeal. Understand this profound truth. Whenever you genuinely walk toward the divine, your life will transform all on its own. You do not have to force yourself to change. If you remain devoted to the Lord and steadfast in your spiritual practice, all of this purification happens spontaneously. The very first change occurs in your desires and appetites. If you previously enjoyed eating meat and fish, or indulged in worldly parties, those desires will simply wither away naturally. All those temptations might be placed right in front of you, yet you will not consume them, because the craving itself will have been completely eradicated from deep within your soul. Gradually, a profound realization will dawn in your life. I am wasting so much precious time sitting idly in front of the television. You will naturally detach from that as well. You will simply prefer to sit in silence, choosing to dive deeper into your spiritual practice. After finishing your daily duties, when you enter your home, you will no longer feel the same worldly, physical attachment to your spouse. You may not say anything outwardly, but deep within your heart, you will question, how long will I remain entangled in physical lust? Your life will continuously transform. By this time, your Kundalini energy will have gradually ascended from the Svadhisthana or sacral and Manipura or navel chakras, reaching all the way to your heart center, the Anahata chakra. At that stage, you will not enjoy listening to any songs other than the divine melodies of the Lord, nor will you wish to participate in superficial social gatherings. Your only desire will be to remain absorbed in the divine chant of the Lord's name. If you engage in any conversation, it will solely be about the divine. You will have absolutely no interest in anything else. So, this gradual withdrawal in life, detachment from food, detachment from lust, detachment from worldly entertainment, this is the true state of renunciation. Merely abandoning your physical home is not renunciation. This authentic state will only manifest as you go deeper and deeper into meditation, and this is precisely what happens to a true seeker. Do not think I am speaking of something abstract. If you steadfastly walk this path of sadhana, you will not need to give up anything. Everything will naturally fall away on its own. A brief anecdote comes to mind. A gentleman once approached a sage and said, "I have a deep, burning yearning to connect with the Lord, but I cannot give up alcohol, nor can I quit smoking cigarettes. Whoever I go to tells me that I must first quit smoking, quit drinking, and stop eating non-vegetarian food, and only then will I gradually progress." The sage gently replied, "You do not need to give up anything. Do whatever you wish to do. Just sit for half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, and meditate exactly as I instruct you." He taught him the method of meditation and added, "Practice this sincerely. Do not change anything else about your habits, but do not lie to me either. Do this for a month and then come back to me." The man was incredibly sincere at heart. For an entire month, he practiced exactly as instructed, while continuing to eat and drink whatever he desired. However, he noticed that after just 10 to 15 days, his intense cravings began to vanish. When a month had passed, he returned to the sage and said, "I no longer have any desire to do the things I used to do. I did not force myself to leave anything, they simply left me." Why did those habits leave him? Because he was sincere. He was genuinely practicing, not trying to deceive anyone or put on a show for the world. The profound essence of what I am saying is this: if you engage in the process of sadhana from the deepest core of your heart, you will gradually become completely refined from within. You do not need to renounce anything. Worldly things will renounce you. Your superficial entertainment will leave you, your lust will leave you, your attachments to specific foods will leave you. The companions and friends with whom you used to spend hours laughing and joking will no longer appeal to you. As this profound state develops, and your conscious focus ascends to the third eye, the Agya Chakra, a very high degree of renunciation will have blossomed within you. You will become incredibly refined, and through the sheer power of this sadhana, wherever you go, you will naturally sit in a state of deep meditation. Nothing else will appeal to you anymore. Now, this exalted state naturally awakened within Raman Maharshi during his very childhood. Paramahansa Yogananda and Swami Vivekananda also experienced this state early on. But for them, it was the culmination of their past lives' spiritual merits. For you, this state has arrived because you are a mumukshu, a true seeker who desperately yearns for liberation, and you have devoted 20 to 25 years of your life to this pursuit. Therefore, this state is something you have rightfully earned, and it has blossomed within you through the ultimate grace of the Lord. Gradually, as your energy ascends from the Agya Chakra, the third eye, to the Sahasrara Chakra or Crown Chakra, you will enter a state of supreme, unalloyed bliss or Ananda. In that ecstasy, a thought will surface in your mind: I should spend the rest of my life exactly like this, abandoning everything else. The very moment this thought of forced renunciation enters your mind, you will plummet back to your initial, lower state. Upon returning to that lower state, you will feel restless and dissatisfied, which will propel you to strive for the higher state once again. You will oscillate back and forth numerous times, ascending to the heights and descending back down. It will be exactly like a child learning to walk. You will stumble, fall, rise, and fall again. Eventually, a time will come when you master this balance. You will learn to walk the path and firmly establish yourself in the Sahasrara Chakra. But even then, a profound question will arise in your mind: is the ultimate purpose of life merely to exist by leaving everything behind? This is precisely the stage that Mahatma Buddha once experienced. He reached an extreme state of asceticism where he survived on a single grain of rice. His physical body became so severely emaciated and frail that he could not even cross a small, shallow river. It was then that the divine inspired a profound realization within him: what are you doing, brother? If you do not have the physical strength to cross this tiny stream, how will you ever cross the vast, worldly ocean of existence with this depleted energy? You are walking the wrong path. You must take proper care of your health, your body, and your mind. From that moment on, he resumed eating and nourishing his body. He swung from his old state of extreme indulgence to the new state of extreme asceticism, and back again. Then, the Lord bestowed upon him a profound wisdom: what is the use of endlessly wandering between two extremes? When I go high, the urge to come down naturally arises. Think of the pendulum of an old clock. It swings entirely to one side, and from there, it swings all the way to the other. But there is a state of equilibrium in the center, a point of stillness where the dual movements meet and dissolve. Thus, a realization dawns upon the true seeker: there is no benefit in forcing myself to abandon everything. There is no gain in swinging to this extreme, nor to that extreme. I must remain perfectly centered in the middle. The profound essence here is this: I must neither renounce the world, nor must I become blindly entangled in it. I do not want attachment or rag, nor do I want detachment or renunciation. What I truly need is Veetraga, the exalted state of being entirely free from both attachment and aversion. A person constantly swings from the state of rag to renunciation, and from renunciation back to rag, wandering aimlessly in this endless cycle. But when he finally attains the state of Veetraga, where neither worldly attachment nor forced detachment exists, he completely transcends both dualities. When he rises above both, his spiritual energy, the awakened Kundalini, ascends beyond the Sahasrara chakra and merges into the boundless cosmos. His individual consciousness intimately unites with the supreme consciousness of the universe. In that ultimate, unified state, he experiences true Samadhi or a state of ecstasy. He no longer dwells in attachment, nor does he dwell in detachment, he resides eternally in Veetraga. To remain firmly established in this state of Veetraga is the true definition of Samadhi or a state of ecstasy. From that transcendent center, the individual seamlessly enjoys the supreme bliss of the divine while simultaneously appreciating the beauty of the world, holding absolutely no aversion, hatred, or conflict toward anything in existence. To understand this deeply, there is a beautiful, short tale about the great sage Ashtavakra. Once, a stunning maiden approached, carrying the cup of the nectar of life. She offered it first to Mahatma Buddha. But Buddha refused, saying, "I cannot drink the nectar of life, for life is suffering." Next, she took it to Pythagoras, a great philosopher of his time. He looked at it and said, "I will certainly taste it." Then, she went to Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher. He declared, "I will drink it completely." Finally, she brought the cup to Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra looked at her and proclaimed, "I will drink this nectar, and I will accept you as well, yet I will remain completely unattached and untouched by this world." The profound essence here is this: exist in attachment or rag, exist in detachment or renunciation, but ultimately, elevate your state to Veetraga. Once you rise above both, neither will attachment torment you, nor will detachment forcefully pull you. Only then can you truly merge with the divine. After all, everything is a creation of the Lord. He created rag, and He created renunciation. When you reach that exalted state, everything becomes equal in your eyes. You will become entirely desireless. You will become entirely choiceless. When that state blossoms in your life, where there is neither rag nor renunciation, but only Veetraga, where you have absolutely no desires and no choices, that is the exact moment you attain ultimate liberation. This is the true state of liberation, rising above both attachment and detachment, entering Veetraga, establishing yourself in Samadhi or a state of ecstasy, and becoming entirely one with the Lord. When a seeker becomes one with the Lord, they become one with the entire boundless universe. Their individual consciousness completely dissolves into the cosmic consciousness. At this stage, there is no longer any need to make an effort to remain conscious. One transitions from a state of effortful consciousness into a profound, transcendent state of absorption, a supreme achetan or superconscious state. In this state, you completely lose track of time. Think of how you sit in a cinema for 3 hours, completely absorbed in a movie without being aware of yourself or the passage of time. That is a worldly, fragmented form of losing ordinary consciousness. However, the supreme state of absorption achieved here comes only after crossing the vast ocean of consciousness. When you transcend this ocean and enter that ultimate state of divine absorption, you become one with the Lord. Once this state is attained, there is absolutely no state higher than this. Therefore, do not forcefully try to manufacture renunciation in your life. Simply keep walking steadily on the path of your spiritual practice, and true detachment will dawn all on its own. If attachment or rag surfaces, let it come. Acknowledge it, and then transcend it to reach Veetraga. From Veetraga, step into the profound depths of Samadhi or a state of ecstasy, and unite with the Lord. This is the supreme, ultimate goal of human life. Just make an earnest effort to walk this path. The Lord Himself will pull you toward Him. You do not need to do anything forceful. Simply keep walking, keep moving forward, and He will effortlessly carry you across the ocean of existence. Thank you.